Good morning, good morning. Here's what's been happening lately. 3 things. First, a new CTA Security Plan includes sheriffs on trains, higher barrier gates, and farecard checks. Next, City Council freezes tipped worker pay at 76% of minimum wage to help struggling restaurants. And lastly, new SNAP work requirements for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Plan puts pressure on older Chicagoans. Let's break it all down. First, the CTA is deploying sheriff's deputies on its trains, installing higher barrier entry gates to deter fare evasion, and starting farecard inspection missions after the agency's federal funding was threatened. The CTA presented those changes in a revised security plan Tuesday to the Federal Transit Administration, which had been threatening to cut $50 million in funding grants if the CTA did not revise its security plan to the FTA's liking. The FTA has been pressuring the CTA to improve system safety since a woman was set on fire in November 2025 on a Blue Line train. The agency is committing to 75% more policing hours on its system. To do that, here are a few things that will be in place. First, raising the policing hours of the Chicago Police Department's public transit section by 34%. The unit is staffed by 177 officers, doubling to 240 the number of off-duty officers who can sign up for extra hours patrolling the CTA. That number already has been raised once in 2025. It was boosted to 120 from 77. Next, having Cook County Sheriff's deputies patrol the system's rail lines at a combined rate of 4,400 hours per month. Neither the CTA nor the Sheriff's Office would say how many officers it would take to meet those targets. The number, however, is about 20% of what the police department's transit section typically works, according to figures in the CTA's December response to the FTA. Among other changes, the CTA will test high barrier entry gates to prevent fare evasion. Such gates, which don't comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act, will be installed at rail stations that typically are staffed but still have high rates of fare evasion, the CTA said. The agency will also begin farecard inspection missions this year. The goal, according to the CTA, is to uncover the use of free, reduced, or other entitlement fare media by someone other than the authorized holder and revoke the entitlement. Older adults in the Chicago area are at risk of losing their SNAP benefits after work requirements were expanded to include 55 to 64-year-olds as part of President Donald Trump's sweeping tax overhaul law passed last year. In Chicago, only about 35% of households that included adults in this age group were working at least 20 hours per week, according to a Chicago Sun-Times and WBEZ analysis of data from the U.S. Census 2024 American Community Survey. The new requirements call for people to work or volunteer 80 hours a month, which translates to about 4 hours a day. The rules also were expanded to include veterans and parents whose youngest child is 14 years or older. If SNAP recipients don't meet the rules or get an exemption by May, they will begin losing their benefits. The potential loss of benefits comes as the number of Illinois residents 60 or older and living in poverty grew by 7% from 2023 to 2024. Next, Chicago's tipped workers could have their hourly pay frozen at 76% of the city's minimum wage, thanks to a city council vote Wednesday that throws an economic bone to restaurants, but sets the stage for Mayor Brandon Johnson's third veto. At a time when Chicago is becoming increasingly unaffordable for working class residents, Johnson said this week it would be not only tone deaf, but irresponsible for the city council to stop what was supposed to be a 5-year phase out of the sub-minimum wage for tipped workers. The mayor counts the phase out as one of the signature wins of his progressive agenda. He plans to fight to keep it, even if it opens a new front in his ongoing battle with an emboldened city council majority that rejected his proposed corporate head tax. The mayor said Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton won the Democratic primary for the U.S. Senate on a promise to work to raise the minimum wage to $25 an hour. Without the freeze, Tipped workers now paid $12.62 an hour, or 24% less than the $16.60 paid to hourly Chicago workers who do not receive this tip, would receive a raise up to 16% of the Chicago's minimum wage. That amount is reset every July 1st. With the freeze, they would still receive a raise, but it would be capped at 76% of whatever the minimum hourly wage turns out to be.